Johnny. How are you?
It's in the nature of our elected officials, civil servants, local councillors, and any of the assorted peaked caps with power to ruin our day that they will not admit to error. They most especially will not accept that they have been a colossal ass. Their reaction to any challenge on logical common sense grounds that they may have acted foolishly will be to dig their heels in, restate their case, cite precedent, quote the rules, and generally compound their mistakes until someone drags out that exasperated phrase, political correctness gone mad. Which is a misnomer, as in almost all cases, there's nothing correct about it. Take the lady that's been banned from taking a boy to school. He has cerebral palsy, needs a complicated regime of medical treatment, but the woman has not been cleared by the Criminal Records Bureau, so it's against the law for her to take the boy to school by taxi. There is one other small detail that should have alerted a sensible official that banning the escort might not make sense, and that is that the woman is the boy's mother. But this means nothing to the council, who claim that anyone accompanying a boy to school will be thought of by others to be representing the council and must undergo extensive checks to see if she's a wanted criminal. For some reason, it's the taking him by taxi part that they object to. If she'd driven him herself, the council would have helped out with expenses. That, on being contacted by the press about this, the council chose to dig itself in even further by refusing to back down, instead of waving its objection away and treating the thing as a silly mistake, says everything you need to know about the tremulous Jobsworths that have unaccountably risen to take so many positions of power in this land. It's like we've been taken over by form-filling robots. They're blinkered and short-sighted. No wonder they can't see sense. It's amazing they can see the glass in front of their nose, eh? And the way in which the council stated their case was absolutely hilarious. Okay, so if you were a member of the council and you made this, I suppose it's an understandable error, because you're presented with the facts, you look down the list, see where it fits, and it says this person must be checked by the Criminal Records Bureau. Right, okay, it's like trying to fit a square peg into a slightly not square hole, like a tetrahedron.
Oh, you got that wrong. A tetrahedron is a square.
Or isn't. I've got no idea. I got a C in maths. 0845 6060 973 if you can give me the absolute correct definition of a tetrahedron. Actually, I'm not going to take that call, am I? Anyway. So they checked their little form, and it came out, computer says this person must be checked. Now, the woman complained, and one single woman's complaint isn't going to make them go and reassess their decision. But being contacted by the national press, you'd think that they would have a look to see what they've done, to see if it hasn't been a mistake, to see if they won't be made to look foolish in the newspapers. But no. Instead of doing that, they said, and I quote, "The CRB, Criminal Records Bureau, the CRB checking is a requirement of our transport provisions in relation to adults travelling on home-to-school transport in the capacity of an escort." Well, already they're talking like, who speaks like that? Nobody. It is as though they are not human, like robots. "This is a standard requirement," they said. "Any adult acting as an escort will, in the public gaze, be viewed as acting with the full acquiescence of the council and hence with its implied authority." They actually said that out loud, in words. Acquiescence. Who uses that in speech? Or hence, even. No one says hence. "For the protection of the council and all vulnerable persons in its care, it's essential all those endowed with an authority, implicit or explicit, should meet the security requirements within the transport contract provisions." These people aren't human. What is going on? Endowed? I mean, really? This is the same Criminal Records Bureau, by the way, that has its checks have risen from 1.5 million people to 3 million people over the past year. Eventually, of course, every single person in the country will have their fingerprints, iris scan, blood type, DNA profile run through the computer to see if they can't come up with anything. And the fact that every so often, well, with increasing frequency, they will come up with the wrong result and bang innocent people up for heinous crimes that they have got nothing to do with, well, that's completely irrelevant. Last week, a woman was wrongly labelled a violent alcoholic drug addict and was told that she'd have to allow police to take her fingerprints if she wanted to clear her name. This is a woman without a stain on her character who was informed by the Criminal Records Bureau, those experts, that she was a violent alcoholic drug addict. Well, you'd think you'd know if you were one of those, wouldn't you? Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. What a great afternoon that was. She was told that she had a criminal record stretching 18 years, including 3 convictions for assaulting police officers, and the only way to clear her name, here's the frightening part, where dark clouds gather overhead. The only way to clear her name was to get her fingerprints checked against every unsolved crime in the country. Kind of saying, well, all right, we might have made a mistake, but let's see if we can't get you on something so we don't look so foolish. It's quite frightening, really, isn't it? And that refrain, that if you haven't done anything wrong, you've got nothing to hide, is starting to look a bit thin, really, isn't it? Oh, well. Mustn't grumble. 0845 6060 973 if there's anything on your mind, and I do mean, absolutely anything. Don't wait for me to announce the topic of your choice. It's always open phones. You can text me on 84850, and the email is up and working, nick.abbott, 2 B's, 1 T, at lbc.co.uk, but the phone is the preferable way of communicating. We can talk to each other like real human beings. 0845 6060 973. First call, Barnett. Hello, Mirelle, my bell.
Hello, Nick. How you doing?
I am super. Thanks for asking.
This is your sort of weather, isn't it? You and ducks, don't you like the rain?
I'd like to go dancing naked in the rain, however it goes.
Dancing in the Rain with the One I Love. That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, that song? Criminal Record Bureau, Nick.
Right.
Ruined my friend's life when she was unemployed.
Really?
She was applying for jobs where the sort of jobs she was going for, she needed a criminal record check.
Yeah.
Really, really trying. She was going all over the country, going for these interviews, and when the checks were coming through, or they were getting informed, she was phoning the employers back and saying, can you tell me why I'm not successful?
Yeah. Well, what kind of jobs were there that she was going for?
She was going for, it was to do with elderly people and caring for elderly people and children as well, so she had to have the CRB checks. And when she was phoning the employers back, when she was unsuccessful, they were being really rude to her. And I said to her, when I was unemployed, I said, they're not normally like this. I mean, they were sort of like never darken our door again sort of thing.
Huh.
And she phoned one company and they'd already heard of her name. So I said to her, it's got to be your CRB check. It's got to be, okay? Somebody felt sorry for her. One of the guys that had turned her down for a job felt sorry for her, and I don't think they meant to do this, and he sent her a copy of the CRB check.
Yes.
Right? This is what she'd done. A woman that had never stolen a thing or hurt anybody in her life.
Here we go.
3 armed robberies, muggings. She was like the Jessie James of London. You wouldn't want to cross her doorstep, which is why when she was phoning these people and saying, can you please tell me where I'm successful, they were saying, we're contacting the it was
they were being polite on the phone while thinking
they weren't even being polite on the phone. I mean, they were so rude. And she said, do you get this? I said, no. I said, they're normally quite conciliatory with me. I said, it's got to be your CRB check. But even when we proved that they were wrong, she had to go through hell and high water to get the right CRB check. Fingerprints. It wasn't a case of they made the mistake, okay, but they would not accept it was their responsibility.
Right, guilty until proven innocent.
Exactly, but I mean, she must have applied for about 300 jobs before it sort of clicked.
What?
Yeah, because it never occurred to us.
Well, why isn't she suing us essentially?
Well, this is because she's not. I said to her to contact the papers, but she's a very unassuming, quiet person.
Right.
You know, she's not one. This is the whole thing.
Well, you should introduce her to a lawyer, and he will show her the pot of gold at the end of this hideous rainbow.
I know, but what I would say to anybody, obviously it doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen, and if you think that this might be a reason, if you're going for a job, whether it's with kids or adults or, you know, where you have a CRB check, and you honestly don't know why you're getting the jobs, send off for a copy, because they keep getting it wrong.
I wasn't aware that you could actually have a copy.
Well, I don't think you can, but if you've got... Well... The only reason she got a copy was because one of the employers that she applied felt sorry for her, basically.
Well, isn't that outrageous that you... I mean, if you actually are a criminal, then you know you've committed all those crimes, so why would it be in their interest to stop you knowing what you've done? Like, you'd forget about that sort of stuff?
Well, this is it.
So we should be able to know what our CRB... You know, I have no information, I have no knowledge that we can't, but it's the sort of thing that you would imagine they'd say, oh, well... You know, can't allow you to see that sort of information, but it's what I've done.
Exactly.
Tricky, they'll say. Here, listen, Morel, I'm coming up to a break, but thanks for that story. That was a bit shocking. All right, cheers, my dear. Eventually, we won't have any money in this country because everyone will have sued us. LBC.
We all have an Hello.
Heathrow. Hello, Monique.
Hello.
Monique.
Yeah, hi. I recently moved back from America. I was living there for about 7 years.
Oh, yeah.
And moving back, I was actually shocked about the lack of freedoms that we have here.
Where were you in America?
In Miami Beach.
Okay.
So I'm missing the Miami Beach summer.
Well, yeah, I can imagine, yeah.
But I was listening to you talk earlier, and just generally is that we have no freedoms, and the freedoms are taken away, and people gripe a bit.
So how long have you been away? Let's get a snapshot of what it is that you're talking about. How long were you away?
7 years.
Okay, so in those 7 years, you came back. How did it change?
There's a lot more CCTV cameras, and speed cameras, and you can, if you park for 2 seconds where you shouldn't, you're slapped with a £60 ticket. Mm-hmm. And I've just found that generally in England they make life difficult for you. It's always the stick approach and never any carrot.
Right.
And people just take it, and they take it, and they take it, and nobody really fights back. I found in America that if you don't like something, you join a lobby and you can fight for your cause.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, there's the Constitution and all the stuff that George Bush has done, that eventually, it takes a while, but it gets reversed by the Supreme Court.
Yes, I think that's one of the reasons that American tourists are, they're tolerated because they tipped so much, but they have the reputation of complaining all the time, for 2 reasons. One is that whenever they leave to go anywhere else apart from perhaps Thailand, the standards of service are abysmal compared to what they used to, and also it's just in their nature to complain about things because that gets them what they want, whereas we will not complain to change our situation. We'll accept the situation and then mutter about it under our breath.
Yes, but what I want to know is what can we do about it? I did look at the Liberty website recently, but it seems like they seem pretty ineffective because there's still that 42 days detention without charge that went through.
And in America, of course, they have 2 days detention without charge. We have 42 days, they have 2 days.
Yes, I think it's outrageous. Well, I don't... The thing with the criminal, what do you call it, the CRB check, that I don't really know how it works here, but whenever I've employed somebody in America, you just check the public record. You just check the county records, and it's public record, and anybody can do that. And I think that is a good idea.
Now, I've been to Miami Beach. I listen to a lot of talk radio in Miami. There's a guy over there called Neil Rogers. And so I know a bit about the town, and it's perceived to be much more violent, aggressive and murderous than is London. But it sounds as though you're getting the opposite impression.
Oh, no, I was very safe in Miami Beach.
Right.
I think in the 80s or the 90s when there was a lot of drug crime, that's when there was a high crime rate.
Because there was a little while there when you almost had to run in a crouch from the airport to your hire car to avoid getting strafed by local perps.
Well, I haven't had that experience.
You haven't had that, yeah.
No.
Haven't been shot so far, righto.
No.
Okay.
I think it's a lot scarier in London.
Right. Now, is it... Yes, but then the argument is it actually more scary, or are the press just more... they're more numerous over here, of course. I mean, in Miami, you've got a couple of newspapers, haven't you, which...
these... when in Miami, I tended to read the international edition of the Financial Times, because...
Right. Well, then you won't get a list of recent deaths in your area, then, which is essentially what the British press has been for a little while. So whether the fewer murders are taking place around where you were in Miami Beach or where you are now in Heathrow, from logic would dictate Miami is worse. It's just that it gets reported more here.
I don't believe that Miami is worse. I think it definitely used to be. And yes, I agree, the papers and the media do sensationalise everything here.
Yeah.
Even if you read a high-quality newspaper, they still sensationalise.
Yes, it's a much drier approach to the news in America, really, isn't it? The print media, anyway.
Yes, you can actually make your own opinion and not get wound up every time you read the paper in the morning.
Right. OK, well, thanks very much for that, Monique.
OK,
cheers.
Thank you.
Ta-ra.
Bye.
0845 6060 973. I wonder if Miami has had that short, sharp shock, no tolerance thing that New York has, which was detailed quite well in the Express today. And this was The Shock of Their Lives is the headline. It's about how they deal with burglars in New York. Well, they concentrated on burglars, I suppose, because in this country, burglars, when caught, are from this point on to be given a comic and a lollipop and asked politely if they wouldn't mind not doing it again. I exaggerate the comic effect, but that's more or less what it is. And again, I'm just filling because I can't find my blooming story. I'll go from the top. M&S boobs, gassy cows, benefit fraud, Cameron and morals, rude parents, blind hospitals and ambulances. They're clamping ambulances outside hospitals. The whole world's gone crazy. Custom checking your iPods, Lithuanians in... The Lithuanian in the shed. What a great story that is. Might come to that in a minute. Chigwell, hello, Jeff.
Hiya, Dick.
Jeff.
How you doing?
All right, thanks.
You still remind me of Alan Freeman.
Alan Freeman, hey, pop
You
figures.
still remind me of him. Anyway, listen, you were talking about tall buildings a couple of nights ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You were talking about a mile high building.
A what now?
A mile high building.
Mile high building?
Yeah. There was one there's one that's being built in Dubai.
Right.
160 stories high.
Oh, the views from that would be fantastic. It was like, featureless sand for as far as the eye can see. Yeah.
What was the other one, the mile high building? Where was that?
Oh, it's the Far East are, various cities in the Far East are competing with each other to see who can't produce the biggest steel phallus, essentially. That's what
about the Taipei 101?
Yeah, Taipei 101. That's already up and ready to go, isn't it? Well,
right.
That's a functioning building at the moment, but I don't think it's a mile high.
To deviate from the topic of the night that you're speaking about, obviously...
there is no topic of the night. Anything goes.
Okay, right. The Taipei 101, I was watching Alain Robert.
Who?
Alain Robert.
Oh, the Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Yes.
A couple of years ago, he tried to climb the Canary Wharf Tower.
Yes, that bloke's a nutter.
He's married with a couple of children.
I know. Can you imagine what his wife, every time he leaves the house, she must be... Oh, I can't imagine how she doesn't beat him over the head with a rolling pin every time he walks in the door. I do not know.
Well, listen, I'll tell you what, right? He tried to climb the Canary Wharf Tower.
Yeah.
Time I watched him, and it rained as he was halfway up.
Right.
And he's had to make a decision whether to climb to the top or...
Come back down.
Yeah.
Because you can't pop in the windows, none of them open.
No, he was climbing in the corner of the building.
Right, that's right, yeah.
And I thought to myself, God, I mean, what a decision to make.
And what did he do? He went to the top, right?
No, he didn't.
Oh, right, okay.
He climbed back down. And I'm thinking to myself, like, he's climbed most of the tall buildings in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, is he going to make a claim to climb the Maihard building?
I'm sure it's on his list. Unfortunately, he won't be able to climb any giant shard of glass in Leeds because they've just been put on the back burner, like almost every other large building project in the country, because of you-know-what. I think it's probably a very good idea, because if you've ever been to Leeds, and I bow to no one in my admiration for the Yorkshire landscape, what's outside Leeds is unutterably lovely. Leeds itself, though, not so much. Yeah, and there's no end of empty office space and flats in Leeds. I mean, you couldn't count them with a calculator. So why anybody in their right minds would want to build some more is beyond me. But anyway, that's one pair of buildings that's off his list.
But aren't they going to build some tower blocks in London?
Well, yes, I do hope that this credit crunch isn't going to... There's one particular building that I hope never gets built, and that's what I think they call the walkie-talkie. It's the one that's wider at the top than it is at the bottom, and they were going to stick that in the square mile. Hideous thing. Well, whoever okayed that is a dope. It looks awful. The shard of glass, on the other hand, which is just going to be over the other side of the river, I think, by Tower Bridge. That is a beautiful building, and I really do hope that goes ahead, because there's one thing about London's skyline, is it's actually rubbish, isn't it? I mean, as a major city, its skyline is terrible.
It all depends where you're standing.
Well, yes, I suppose you're right, yeah. If you're standing right in front of St Paul's, it's lovely. Yeah. OK, thanks a lot, Jeff. Cheers, mate. Ta-ra. 0845 6060 973. But Boris is right. One of the things that he said was, we do want high buildings, but the crucial thing about tall buildings is they've got to be grouped together. They look like unlovely growths when they're all separated by space. This is LBC 97.3. It's 7:58. On 84850, a text. The CRB costs £35 a time, says this text. Now, does that mean that it costs you £35 to get your information, or does that mean that the actual test costs that? I don't know. Another. I agree with a lady who spent 7 years in Miami Beach. I lived in Narlands for 14 years and came back 3 years ago. What shocked me here in the UK was the speed cameras. I was very confused as to how speeding 2 to 5 miles an hour was treated as a crime. Above the speed limit, I think, probably mean. Cops in the USA spent time and money on catching real criminals, not on petty speed crimes. Within 3 months of my return, I got 12 points. Ouch.
That's a ban, isn't it?
But it's got to be, 12. I didn't know it went up to 12. So far, 0. Touching wood.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. I must be the only person in the country, eh? Only crashed twice. Both times reversing out of my dad's garage. Just it's a bit too excited, turn the wheel too quickly. Boom, there goes the front wing.
What's exciting about reversing out of a garage?
Well, I was, 17 at the time. Brentford. Hello, Ridvan.
Hi, Nick.
How are you?
Yeah, not too bad yourself.
Yes, very good, thanks.
Okay, good.
Go ahead.
Clampers.
Clampers, yeah.
Yeah, about half an hour ago I was at Heathrow, and my flight wasn't due in about 5 or 10 minutes. So I said, okay, let me stop here, have a cigarette, write my name board and all this. And I was just watching my mirror when a guy is speaking out and actually tried to clamp my car while I was in a car, and the car was running.
Really? Well, you were lucky you were stationary at the time.
Yeah, I know, and actually, luckily that I've got it. Actually, he put half of the clamp.
Really?
On a wheel, so he couldn't put the other half because I drove, and I dragged his clamp sort of like for about 2-3 meters, and the clamp fell down, and that's it.
So tell us where exactly you were. You were at the drop-off point, or pick up, or what?
No, I was in a park-in, which is obviously double yellow line there. But to go a bit further up, I thought it's nonsense, because the flight's going to come in a minute.
Yeah.
So just to stay near and to contribute to this climate change thing, so I said I don't want to drive a bit further up.
Yes.
So I just wanted to stay there. I can go quickly to terminal.
And he tried to sneak up behind you and clamp you while you were in the car.
Yeah, I should have put it in reverse and hit the guy, really, but...
Well, not advisable, Ridvam, no.
No, of course not.
All right.
But that, and obviously they clamped another guy, which he was very unlucky. He probably haven't seen them.
Yes. Okay, thanks for that. That's like a warning. Well, it is. I mean, I've done that. Well, I haven't actually done exactly that myself, but I've been in that position where you're coming to pick somebody up at Heathrow. The road that leads up to the pick-up point or drop-off point, whichever it might be, has got double yellow lines on it. Now, if you've ever gone to where you drop off or, more accurately, pick up, you'll know that you're not allowed to stop there either. I think that's double yellow lines as well. I mean, they do turn a blind eye if you're actually picking up somebody at the time. But you can't sit there and park and have a fag. Neither do you really want to, for reasons of, protecting the environment and saving the planet, want to drive beyond it and circle until they actually arrive. Because that's a big circle. If you go past the thing there and you have to go all the way around again, it's a nightmare. Because not only is it quite a long way, but the different lanes that you have to change in to keep going around rather than be spat out and back onto the M4 are labyrinthine. They give you a heart attack. They're so complicated. So, yeah, quite right. You just want to stay there, turn your engine off, save the planet, which is against the law.
Also, if you are picking up, there might not be a space when you come back around.
Well, yes, in which case you'd hope that your mother can leap into a moving car. Yes. Banstead, hello, Charlotte.
Hi, Nick.
Charlotte.
How are you?
I'm great, mate.
Good. Looking forward to your weekend.
I don't have weekends, Charlotte.
Oh, right. I just wanted to say, I told Chris I used to work for the government.
Did you? Oh, very hush-hush, yes.
And my office overlooked Big Ben.
Right.
And I was just thinking, because when I used to walk down Whitehall...
You used to work for the government?
Yeah.
In what capacity?
Oh, just secretarial.
Oh, OK.
But I've got a pass that could get me into House of Commons.
Right.
And Portcullis House, and you have to be CRB checked for that.
Yeah, I bet.
Obviously.
Portcullis House, I've been in there. It's,
actually, I shouldn't say it, but it's not very nice, is it?
Well, I've only been in the glass atrium and the main room where they hold the Commons, whatever they call them, where people ask impertinent questions of the Prime Minister of the day on those green chairs by the husband and wife team, whose name escapes me at the moment, begins with E. That's going to annoy me now. Those green chairs, those nice green chairs.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So that's all I've seen. I've just seen the atrium with the trees that died, and then got replaced at vast expense. That's all I've seen. Well, I thought that it was the most expensive office block per square foot in the world at the time, and it's not very nice inside.
No, inside it's just sort of, I don't know to say anything really.
No, go ahead.
What it's like inside. Well, it's just loads of sort of teak doors.
Teak, yeah.
In different offices, but it just looks really plain.
Yes.
It's not elaborate.
Well, it costs an enormous amount of money to make it look that plain, Charlotte.
I know, but can I just say, seeing Big Ben, Houses of Parliament, Parliament Square, Whitehall, I felt really proud to be British.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time I go past...
All the trouble that we're having, I still feel proud, especially when I see Big Ben.
Hey, we found one. A person that feels proud to be British. Well done, Charlotte. You keep keeping it up, all right.
Hello to her, Big Ben.
Yeah, OK.
Bye.
Cheers, my dear. Yeah, I get a little welling of pride every time I go past the Houses of Parliament. I do think it's it's the most beautiful building in London, as it should be, which I suppose makes it the most beautiful building in the country. Can there be a building that could claim to be more beautiful than the Houses of Parliament?
Buckingham Palace?
No. Oh! No, not Buckingham Palace.
St Paul's Cathedral?
No, I don't really get St Paul's Cathedral. I mean, I know it's supposed to be a work of rare genius, but it just looks a bit like a lump to me. I don't really understand what people are on about when they say how great it is. I think its nearer competitor would be the Natural History Museum, the one with the blue veins running horizontally.
That's usually under scaffolding all the time.
No, not for a good long while has it not been under scaffolding. No, I recommend it. Inside and out, it's fantastic.
I've got a good one. The Royal Albert Hall.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Have you not seen it before?
Of course I have. Foolish boy. Of course I've seen it. No, I don't think so. It's not as detailed as the Houses of Parliament. No, the Houses of Parliament is an extraordinary building. Royal Albert Hall is okay.
Westminster Abbey. That's a good one. You gotta admit that.
Well, kind of, but it's a bit... Yeah, well, its proximity to the Houses of Parliament doesn't do it any favours. Are you still thinking in there? Stop thinking. It's most unlike you. 0845 6060 973. Chiswick. David.
Hello, Nick.
Yes, sir.
I was going to say the best building's got to be the Natural History Museum.
Yeah.
And then you went and said it, and you spoiled my thunder.
Oh.
But that's not why I'm phoning you. I live in West London, and between a group of friends, we're constantly picking people up at Heathrow.
Yeah.
And we have a system, and it works fantastic. When you know the flight's coming in, you drive out to Heston Services on the M4, which I'm sure you know. You park there's a car park, get a cup of coffee, you sit and read the paper.
Yeah, Heston Blumenthal's done a tremendous job there, I think.
I'll tell you what, the green ice cream with the snails is something to die for. Literally, I think. But anyway, Heston Blumenthal. Anyway, when the flight arrives, your friend who you're picking up phones you from the luggage hall, says, I'm here. Then they phone you and say, I've just got my luggage, at which point you get into your car, drive to Heathrow, and lo and behold, your friend who you're meeting just exits from the building, you pick them up and drive home. It's fantastic.
Oh, smart move.
Hey, how good is that?
That's perfectly logical, yes.
And it works. It works beautifully, and everybody's got a mobile phone these days, so it's not a problem.
Yep, I suppose you're absolutely right there, yeah. However, there is that...
Go on.
If they're stuck in a plane that arrives late, which presumably is most of the time, then you'll never know. You'll be stuck out there forever.
No, you phone airport information before you leave to check that it's on time, obviously. That goes without saying.
Of course, I feel so foolish.
Well, so you should. I mean, swallow some humble what's it.
They give shows like this to people like me. Can you believe that, David?
I believe it, and I wonder how you manage it, but I'll tell you something, I'm totally hooked. You've ruined my television watching, because all I can ever watch on television now is golf, because I can have it with the sound off and watch the golf and listen to you. It's dreadful.
You know what I would recommend with golf, and this works especially well with snooker as well. Put the sound off while you're watching snooker or golf. They're both green, and they're both very slow. And if you turn up some Brian Eno on the stereo, that is perfect hippie vision.
Groovy. I understand, but it means I don't get to listen to you, Nick.
Oh, I suppose so. Can't you multitask?
No. Do I sound like a woman?
No, not really, no.
Well, thank you.
Well, a little bit.
All right.
Thanks a lot, David.
Ta-da.
0845 6060 973. It's 84850 on the text, nick.abbott@lbc.co.uk. That's how to get me. 8:15. LBC Travel with Alan Joyce.
Thanks.
Thank you for holding. Your call's important to us.
Hey, Glenn.
Evening, Nick. You mentioned how beautiful the Houses of Parliament is.
Yes.
And I agree with you. It's a fine building, but I've never really been up that close to it. But I have the Natural History Museum. And somewhere in the back of my mind, I think I can remember reading or hearing about the fact that the building was subject to a competition.
Oh, yeah.
And the architects were submitting plans for all of this. And the bloke that failed to win the prize for building that museum actually ended up building St Pancras Station, which isn't that dissimilar if you think about it. But can you imagine the building skills involved in putting that thing together, and whether it could even the Natural History Museum, that is, and whether it could be done today? you know, and at what cost? I mean, that was purpose-built for the job. And, of course, they found exhibits to bung in it while they were digging the place up, didn't they? They found remains of woolly mammoth and tiger and all sorts of weird and wonderful things. So they had a head start, really.
The thing with that building is that the particularly beautiful parts inside you're not allowed to see because they made it as... Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm talking about the Victoria and Albert Museum now. Oops. Yeah, inside the Natural History Museum, it's really beautiful. The Victoria and Albert Museum, on the other hand, is a bit of an unlovely lump on the outside. But inside, the initial plan was to create the... because it's an arts and design and crafts museum, or whatever the phrase is that they use, they were going to use arts and crafts to spray the inside of it, particularly colourful hue. Tiling and all sorts of things. If you go to the very back, you can see, but you can't go up, a staircase that's absolutely extraordinary and makes the rest of the building pale into insignificance, essentially, the way it's tricked out on the inside. It's beautiful, but I don't think that you're allowed to see it. It's sort of backstage. And I think that was the part that they started to do first, and then they quickly realised that they didn't have any money, so so the rest of it's quite plain. But it's worth going to the back of the Victoria and Albert Museum and just taking a quick peek up the stairs to see what it could have been like. OK, thanks for that, Glenn.
OK, cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. Right. It's 0845 6060 973. You can text me on 84850. A text. You keep saying the whole world's gone mad. It's only this country that's mad. Well, you know what? If we were sitting in Spain or France or Germany or any of these places, I'm sure that they've got newspapers that are showing up the lunacy of their own surroundings, so it's probably not just us, you know. Another. Nick, in the good old days, they put up roadblocks, not speed cameras. Roadblocks? What do you mean? What does that mean, roadblocks? Roadblocks?
We don't have them, do we?
Don't have what? Roadblocks? What do you mean, roadblocks?
Don't know. Speed humps?
Well, that's not a roadblock.
Depends how you look at it.
What I was talking about earlier on was the nature of the difference in the approach to burglars in this country and in America, because somebody called in a little while ago and said that they were a little surprised as to the way that this country has gone in the last 7 years. And I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted at the moment. I'm going to have to throw my machine in the rubbish, because it's really... Anyway. Britain's soft justice system hit a new low yesterday with plans to scrap prison sentences for burglars. Scrap them. Hundreds of thousands of crooks could escape jail every year under the proposals by advisers to the Lord Chief Justice. Those sentenced to short, sharp shock jail terms of less than 12 months for less, quotes, less serious offences, including burglary, should be handed community penalties instead. That's penalties. That's where they get to sit in a van and smoke joints, isn't it? As pictured in The Sun just the other day. Another further blow, while courts must not be swayed by victims demanding harsher punishments. The advisers said that judges should listen if they call for leniency. So if the victim, the person whose life the perp has ruined, suggests to the judge that, leniency might not be a good thing, the judge is to ignore that. However, if they say, oh, he's all right, let him off, then the judge can take that into account, which just about says it all, doesn't it? So that's us. Now, this is America. This is in the Express today. It's how New York has dealt with its crime wave. Because you remember New York in the 70s was a lawless place. I was there in 1978, and it was tremendously exciting, as though a small electrical buzz was going through you the entire time that you were there, because, well, you didn't know whether you were going to get shot from one moment to the next. And there's something quite exciting and energising about that. Now, however, it's completely different. So here's the story from the correspondent in New York. Mickey Platt is more used to filling a swag bag than a bin bag, but it's 7 a.m. in the filthy gutters of New York's Chinatown, and Mickey is filling a black sack for all he's worth. Cigarette ends, discarded fast food boxes, smelly scraps. He sweeps them onto a shovel and dumps them in the bag under the sharp eye of a Department of Sanitation supervisor. A week ago, Mickey, 19, was a budding burglar with a drug habit, who was trying to break into a Manhattan apartment to steal a DVD player, a laptop, or whatever he could find, armed with little more than a modified screwdriver. It might have been his first offence, but that means nothing in America. If you commit a crime, expect to go to jail. Compare and contrast so far, right? If you commit a crime, don't expect to go to jail here. In America, do. Up to 90% of burglars caught breaking into homes in New York end up behind bars for at least a year. Or in a special prison boot camp called the Shock Incarceration Program. The few who do not get sent to jail commonly get instant justice and are swiftly forced to pay their debt to society with an intense period of humbling menial work, restitution payments to homeowners if they got away with any of their property, strict probation for 5 years, and compulsory drug clean and job hunting. Whereas in this country, you get asked... Well, they don't even ask you if you wouldn't mind not doing it again. They just say, right you are, mate, see you later, and that's it. Others are made to clean hospitals or work in soup kitchens within days, sometimes hours, of being convicted. It's kind of like when you're training a dog. If the dog goes on the kitchen floor, there's no point smacking its little bottom 3 days later, because it won't know what the punishment's for. It won't, in its mind, associate the punishment with the crime. If you do it straight away, the dog will get it, and it won't do it anymore. Not that I'm saying that you should, smack your little doggy. Unlike in Britain, all burglaries are treated as serious crimes in New York, and an enormous police crackdown and a hardened stance by the courts means that burglary in the city has more than halved in the past 10 years. It's dropped 82% since 1990. Wow! And how's it doing here? It's going up and up and up and up and up.
You know what it's to do with?
What?
It's to do with the fact that America has more room for bigger jails than we do.
No, you're not, that's... Well, yes.
Thank you.
But, there's a but. Yes and no, and I hope that that's clear. We've got no end of room for jails in this country. Are you joking? Look at Google Maps. Take a look at the Google map of this country. What colour is it? It is green for as far as the eye can see. Almost nothing in this country is actually built on. That's the surprising part.
But they're green belts. You can't build on them.
No, green belts are a thin strip around towns in order to provide lungs for the people who have to live there. Out in the moors and the wilds and the hills and the dales, I'm sure they could, because, well, there's nobody around, for a start, to complain. Perfect place. Anyway, it's not the actual prison part that this article is concerning itself with. It's the short, sharp shock treatment, the alternative to prison. So they've reduced their total burglaries by 82% since 1990 by this method. Now, you'd think that somebody in authority would think, well, you know what, maybe we should pay attention to what they've done. Maybe we should take a trip over there and see how they do it. Gordon Brown, isn't he announced that he's going to make an announcement about new measures to reduce knife crime? Is that exactly what I just said the other day, that instead of using the powers that they already have, I mean, are you honestly trying to tell me that there's nothing that the law can do to prevent somebody from wandering around with a vicious, murderous weapon on their person? That's just absolute rubbish. Of course not. So what you have to do is enact the laws. You know, use the laws. But that's a bit of a hard slog. So the much easier thing to do, which is what they do over and over again, is say, well, of course, we're going to have a raft of new measures. It's really not like him at all, is it? Not even close. But I'll just give him that voice anyway. A raft of new measures, enacting new laws on the statute books, and which makes it seem as though they're doing something. avoiding the necessity of actually doing something. Anyway, that'll be coming your way on Monday. But back to this. So, in New York, 82% down burglaries since 1990 by this method. Once caught, there is no lenient option, as proposed in plans put forward in Britain this week to allow thousands of burglars to receive soft community-based penalties. Burglary in New York is an extremely serious crime, says an ex-police officer who's now a law professor and has spent time in the UK advising police chiefs on crime prevention, crackdown and punishment. Was he? No one's listening. Maybe he needs to speak up a bit. Anything involving a break-in to a dwelling would jump out of the file at the police chief because it's so traumatic for homeowners. Of course it is. It's more than just taking things, it's an extremely personal invasion of their property. Finally, somebody gets it. One of the problems in Britain is that the police become absorbed in office duties before they can get to street level. So there are large numbers, but who is actually on the street tonight, he asks. Well, it seems bloomin' obvious to me and him, but apparently to nobody who is actually in a position to change any of this. After jailing record numbers in the crackdown on all crimes during the zero-tolerance era of the 90s, inmate numbers have almost halved in New York in the past 15 years, and crime continues to plummet too. So recidivism, the rate at which people commit the crimes over and over and over again, that's gone down as well. Holy smoke, it looks like something actually works. And I'll tell you how.
Well, let's get back to it.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was halfway through a sentence. I read the time out wrong. All my fault. I'll get back to this story, because this is quite interesting. It's a way that New York has halved... No, it's more than halved. It's reduced the burglary rate by 80%. Sounds like they're doing something right. So I'll come back to that in a minute. But first, it would be rude to keep her hanging on, like Blondie, hanging on the telephone. Joan.
Hello, Nick.
Joan.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
I didn't know. Yes, you were talking about the Olympics and all these special measures that were being brought in.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but...
First one, gum.
Yes.
Second, sandwich boards.
Uh-huh.
And these are the first of two that I think will transform London in the run-up to the Olympics. They're going to clean it up. They're going to remove anything that will be embarrassing to look at.
Well, tell me this. Do we not have tourists in London all the time in huge numbers?
Yes.
Right. Do you think, then, that they could have cleaned it up, taken the gum off, whatever, for all the tourists? Well, why are they doing it for a 2-week stint?
Because the world's media will be here, walking around, looking at the pavement, thinking, oh, is that like some sort of skin disease the pavement's got? No, it's 1 trillion bits of spat-out gum. And they will write these stories saying that London is an unlovely, filthy place full of kids that are stabbing each other. So they've got to clean it up so that the international press write nice things.
Well, the international press should be looking at the Olympics, shouldn't they?
Oh, no, they will. But, of course, they'll have a lot of colour reporters being sent over, with them. And while they're going to and fro from their hotel to the Olympic Village, they will spot stories that they can, sell to magazines and newspapers and whatever.
I still don't get it, because I would have thought, year after year, there'll be people coming to London with their stories of what they found. And telling everybody, whenever they get back, they're saying, when they get back to America, they're saying, well, it was a bit of rubbish over there, it was a bit nasty, it was a bit unclean, it was...
But it's not really a great press story, though, is it? That's just word of mouth. And what it is essentially about is reflecting well on the people who are running the country. That's why they'll be so keen to do it, because if everybody goes back and says that, London works like a dream, and it's so clean and fresh, and the locals are
So it'll be clean for 2 weeks, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And when they do that, Bojo and new mayor will be able to take full responsibility, as will whoever happens to be PM at the time.
I don't like the idea that it'll do it for 2 weeks and then it'll be all back to old habits again.
Well, if you cleaned your flat 2 weeks later, it would still be relatively cleaner than if you had never cleaned it.
Well...
Right?
Well, maybe.
Yeah. You should clean your flat more often, Joan.
I don't live in a flat, do you mind? But 2 weeks after I cleaned it, I think it would need doing again, actually.
Right.
I think it would. No, I think there's the terrible hype about these 2 weeks. You know, I can understand if it was a world-changing thing that was hanging around for years.
Yeah, I've decided to become excited about it, and
I know, I noticed.
For a couple of reasons. I mean, I could sit here and say, oh, well, it's going to be a load of old rubbish, and all the venues that they build are going to be locked up and disused afterwards. They probably will be, but we've got to have something bright to look forward to, and because we're on the brink of a recession or fully inside it, and the housing slump and so on, and everything's a disaster, the Olympics is just far enough away and will cause just enough to be spent here, both internally and money coming in from the outside, so that you would think it's possible by that point that we would be coming back up the slopes from the pits of depression, and that the Olympics is just the very thing to relaunch us to a great shiny new tomorrow.
Well, I wish I felt like that. I can't see me taking any interest in the Olympics. And
oh, go on, Joan, force yourself.
I won't, and I won't be going. And
isn't there a single thing not one event that you're remotely interested in? There must be.
Well, I mean, I remember other Olympics.
Yeah.
And I remember watching bits and pieces.
Right.
And I remember trying to get excited.
Yeah.
I really tried.
And
I think there might have been somebody like Roger Bannister or somebody, and and then there was that time when somebody nearly died when he'd finished the marathon.
Well, bound to, yeah.
He just about got into the stadium and collapsed. I mean, yards away from, and that was quite good. But
what, that he collapsed and died? That's the part you like the best.
Well, he collapsed. I don't think he died.
Oh dear, what a shame.
I don't think he died, but he didn't quite get there, if I remember rightly. But this is a 2-week event. You might just as well say to me, "Oh, haven't you been to see this show in the West End?"
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
have you been?
Everybody's raving about it, aren't they?
Best thing I've ever seen.
Yes, and that'll go on for maybe a few years, maybe 10 years, maybe 20 years, and a lot of people come and see it. But the Olympics only 2 weeks, and they're doing all this stuff for the sake of 2 weeks.
Yes. Well, of course, they're making a lot of noise by saying that they're, or in saying that they're not doing it for 2 weeks. They're regenerating the area and all of these, the swimming pools and the running track and the velodrome and all that other stuff that people don't really want is going to, be there in perpetuity and increase the loveliness of that area of town and so on and so forth.
And in the meantime, they won't let children compete in schools in case one person is upset.
Yeah, they're going to have to change that, actually, aren't they? Yes.
Yeah, got to have a run-up, aren't they?
Yeah. That is actually a very good point. They're actually going to have to change that, and they're going to have to do it now.
Well, yes.
That ludicrous nonsense about we can't have games day, or indeed any kind of competition of any kind, in case anyone loses. Well, I mean, no wonder we don't win anything in this country.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty hard when it comes to playing cards with the children. And they say, "Have I won?" I said, "No, you haven't. I've won."
Oh, Auntie Joan is being mean again.
It's the Olympics.
Oh. Yeah. Harden them up for life. Yes. All right. Well, thanks for showing us the way, Joan.
I did indeed.
All right. Cheers, my dear.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da. What a great example she's setting. You want to introduce them to misery and failure early in life, and she's doing her bit. 0845 6060 973. Yes, the Olympics. I'm sort of halfway through this burgling thing. Do you want me to launch into the Olympics or continue with the burglars? Mr. Producer Man. Couldn't care less.
Olympics.
Burglars. Right, I'll try and finish a thought, eh? Right, I'm going to do Olympics in a minute. Burglars now. OK, so keep it in mind, New York has reduced burgling, is that a word? Burgling, yeah, I suppose, so it just sounds funny. By 80% since 1990. What an extraordinary success. The reoffending rates are also through the floor. How did they do it? Well, if you don't go to jail, you get a mandatory 5 years probation, often with compulsory community service of performing menial tasks in public that are intended to humble you. The fellow that's responsible for it says that my clients hate it and think twice about committing more crime. Compare that and contrast that with what happens in this country, when at the most they'll be sitting on their bunk, smoking a joint, watching Sky TV, and waiting for their afternoon massage. Not quite, but, you know. While the idea of military-style boot camps for prisoners has never stuck in Britain, they've thrived in New York for 20 years. Those whose offences were less serious served 6 months, followed by 6 months compulsory job training and strict probation. Many are obliged to pay compensation to their victims. Reoffending within a year of release is just 8%. Wow, that's infinitesimally small compared to what it is over here. I don't know exactly what it is, so I'll make it up. 110% of the perps that come out go and do it again. Oh, it's 50% for criminals in general. 8% for the people who go through this short, sharp shock thing. Inmates at a shock prison are allocated a military-style drill instructor whom they call sir or ma'am. They get up at 5:30 in the morning and spend until 9:30 every day performing a combination of tough physical training and drill, hard labour on community projects, and compulsory education, as well as any treatment for the drug or substance addictions that many burglars in particular were committing their crimes in order to satisfy. Right, so far, so short, sharp shock. Many prison boot camps team their disciplinary drills with strenuous community work and re-education. At Shock, this is what they call this camp, after the dawn run and marching drills, inmates spend the morning working towards their high school diploma, and the afternoon on physically demanding public schemes. How different to here. Hard labour community projects include clearing undergrowth in national parks, cleaning benches and streets, painting public buildings. They spend the evening having drug rehabilitation classes or training for release and are assessed every day. Our watchwords are discipline, motivation, teamwork and responsibility, says the guy who runs it. These inmates are made to do a harsh paramilitary regime every day. We do not humiliate or demonise them, but we give them skills, direction and focus so they're not leeches on society. It's probably illegal to even refer to them as leeches in this country. They wear uniforms that they must clean and iron every day. There is a lot of standing to attention and obeying orders, and almost no trouble. Back on the streets of New York, ex-shock graduates are given 6 months of work by a private sector organisation, contracted to the Department of Corrections. The work is menial, but paid at the minimum wage, 5 days a week, for 4 days of toil and 1 day of training. With New York's three-pronged approach to treating burglary as a serious crime, locking up the vast majority of burglars for more than a year, and giving the rest a shock programme or a public service punishment, the crime has been contained. Ex-cop Eugene O'Donnell, who had one of the toughest beats in Brooklyn, and watched New York go from a crime capital to the safest large city in America, says there's a lot of stop and frisk in New York, and a crackdown on all crime. If you're arrested for burglary, you will be charged with a serious offence, and the chances are you will be severely dealt with. The days of ignoring it and leniency for burglars are long gone. And the Express adds, if only that were true here in Britain. Oh, blimey, if only. It's not as though it's even happening in France. It's not as though it's happening in a foreign language that we don't understand. It's in English. But it wouldn't be allowed in this country because you'd be, I don't know, guilty of hurting their feelings or abusing their human rights or waking them up when they're having their naps. That bloke's right. It's not the whole world that's gone crazy. It's just us. 8:44. LBC Travel with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. Still disruption effect.
It's a good idea to get someone else's opinion.
You bet it is. I'll talk about the Olympics and then after the 9 o'clock news, I'd like to talk about things that are overrated. So keep that in mind. Think up stuff and text it in or call in after 9 o'clock. Things that are overrated. And there's a wedge into that about chickens. Pinner. Hello, Anil.
Hello there. Mr. Abbott, I always listen to your program and I find it very interesting. I was listening to Monique this evening.
Yeah.
And she was saying how wonderful it all was in Miami.
Yeah.
With a self-correcting mechanism within the United States system. Now, I was wondering to myself that here in this country, which is a self-elected policeman to the world, it's gone into a...
Not this country. I think America is the police force to
the United States of America rather than Miami, but Miami is subsumed within the United States.
Are you calling from America? No, you're not. Pinner, yeah.
No, I'm calling from Pinner.
Right, okay.
Right. All I was saying was, I wonder whether you or some of your listeners can sort of enlighten me and see what are the self-correcting mechanisms within the United States of America which can prevent police actions like the one in Iraq, which started out on a lie and has ended on a lie, or is about to end on a lie, or continues on a lie. And effectively, 1 million people have been displaced or killed. Another 1 million have been very badly hurt.
I'm sorry, what's the question?
My question is, what is there within the United States arrangements, whether at the central level, the provincial level, the local level, that makes them self-correcting, that helps other people who are badly treated by the United States? I can't see anything.
So,
Can Monique...
I've heard it several times. I still don't really know what you're asking. It makes them self-correcting. What do you mean by that?
Well, effectively, the United States of America has mechanisms which gives its people freedom, as opposed to the United Kingdom, which perhaps doesn't. This was the argument advanced by Monique. This is what people tell me, that it's such a free place, such a wonderful place.
Right. Why are they so beastly to people outside their borders?
Exactly.
Right,
Why are they so beastly to people outside their borders?
Because they think they're doing the right thing. You know what? I really don't want to get into this argument, because I could be sitting here until the 7th of never talking about this. But you should be in psychotherapy or something like that. You have a very hypnotic voice. I feel I was going into a trance just listening to you.
Okay, I don't know whether you're very kind or very unkind.
No, I think it's very soothing.
I think so. Thank you.
All right, thanks very much, Anil, but I can't get into that now. No, I can't, because, we've got the Olympics, we've got chewing gum and all sorts of, and sandwich boards and all sorts of important stuff to talk. We only want to deal with the issues. Tooting. Hello, Tom.
Oh, hi, Nick. How you doing?
Very well, thanks.
Jolly good. Yeah, Gunnish from a crime point, really. I think it'd be quite good to bring back capital punishment. Like the sort of 3 strikes and you're out system they had in Texas, where if you're convicted of committing a crime for a 3rd time in a row, they would put you down and you would die.
Well, no, that's not true. They would put you in prison and then you'd stay there.
Oh, well, we should be more efficient about it. I think
right.
perhaps 3 strikes and you're out. And
go
then
straight to
put you down,
death.
Yeah, I think so. Because even if you think about it, if you get caught doing graffiti or doing some sort of minor crime for the 2nd time, you would think not just once, you would think twice, and you would probably not do that if you knew that the possible negative effect would be that you would end your life. Right. I think we should implement that.
Okay, thanks very much, mate. I was just, he doesn't have a very soothing voice at all. Neither was what he was saying very soothing. In fact, I was in a, quite, like what do they call it, an alpha rhythm, my brain. I was totally soothed by the previous, fella. That last person, not very soothing at all. I suspect that he was, having a laugh. But there's too many people who would agree with him, so I'm going to have to just disappear it.
So Olympics?
Oh, yes. They've started the clean-up already. 1 million pieces of chewing gum have been dropped in the West End over the last 3 years, cleaners claim today. I bet it's way more than that. You can't see the pavement for the chewing gum in some places. If there's a school and a pizza shop near you, as there was where I used to live, outside the pizza shop, look down on the pavement, you won't see the pavement for the chewing gum. Because all the kids come out of school having a chew, and then they spit their gum out right next to the bin. It's not cool to put things in the bin, so they just let it drop out of their mouths before they go into the pizza shop and have a slice. Vile.
It lasts for years as well.
Yeah, it does. When are they going to introduce that stuff that disappears with the rain?
What?
Yeah, they've invented chewing gum. It's a tremendous step forward. It's actually biodegradable.
Haven't heard anything about that.
Oh, man, it's old news. Anyway, the figures came as Boris Johnson, announced a zero-tolerance approach to litter in the centre of London. Yeah, right. The new West End Company cleaning team for Bond Street, Oxford Street and Regent Street said it had also washed more than 2,250 square miles of pavement, removed 40,000 pieces of graffiti and fly posting, and cleaned 36,000 benches and other street furniture since 2005. Benches? Where are there benches on Oxford Street, Regent Street and Bond Street? There aren't any. Oh, there is the one bench on Bond Street, where new and old join, but it's completely infested by bronze statues. There's nowhere to sit on it.
You have to sit on their laps.
Yeah, and get your photograph taken. The Mayor said, people fail to realise the cumulative impact of spitting out their gum or chucking a piece of litter, but it creates an unacceptable blight on our streets, which other people then have to scrape up or sweep away. I am determined to clamp down on the blight of litter. Well, yeah, I suppose so. But I mean, I think there's more important things to clamp down on than gum. What I don't understand really about gum is, but then, you know, it's people, and I don't really understand people. How can you just spit gum out on the street? Gum comes with bits of paper. I've chewed gum before, and I put it in a bit of paper and put it in the bin, you know, like a human being.
I don't like it full stop.
Well, yeah, I stopped, because you're just swallowing vast bucketfuls of your own saliva. That can't be good for you.
Well, it's good for your teeth, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, saliva's good for your teeth.
Well, I've got saliva. I don't need gum for saliva.
It generates more saliva.
But surely if your teeth needed more saliva, then God, in his infinite wisdom, would provide you with it.
Fair point.
Just the thought of, you just open your mouth and it falls out on the ground, because... Why? You haven't heard of bins? I really don't get people. I just don't understand people.
But there's nothing more unattractive than just someone who's they're just chewing away their mouths.
What, like Alex Ferguson?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. Sandwich boards, they're going to go too. I'll just take this call. Hang on a minute. Sutton, hello, Neil.
Hiya.
Neil.
How you going?
All right, thanks.
Good. I was just discussing, we're in the car, discussing about the chewing gum thing, and I saw a guy get fined for dropping a cigarette butt in Leeds. He got fined £50 on the spot.
Really?
And it just made me think, you know what, he would never do that again. And if we had that kind of thing here as well, because in sort of like Thailand and stuff, it's actually illegal to chew gum.
No, not Thailand.
Thailand
Singapore.
Singapore, that's what I meant, yeah, sorry.
Everything else is illegal in Thailand.
Yes. I wouldn't know.
Right, whereabouts in Leeds, just out of interest? I spent 6 months there.
It was just on Briggett on the main shopping precinct.
Right,
okay.
okay.
Guys that walk up and down and do the instant litter fines.
Right, huh. Right, okay. Well, it's, well, he wouldn't do it again. That's probably, you know
well,
what?
You wouldn't. Like, you know, if you dropped litter and someone fined you £50 for it, you wouldn't do it again.
Well, I'm not sure that's actually true. I think it might make you so...
I obviously don't earn as much money as you then.
Well, I think the assumption would be that that next time you drop litter, you wouldn't get caught. I think it would make you irritated about the rule and make you do it more. But if every time you did it you got caught, then yeah, eventually the message would get through. All right, thanks for that, Neil.
Thank you. Bye.
0845 6060 973. Keep in mind that I want suggestions about things that are overrated. Because organic chicken is apparently one of them. This came in the news just the other day. So we'll construct a list. Won't that be exciting? You can text on 84850 or email nick.abbott@lbc.co.uk. Sandwich boards are another thing that they're going to remove. Not discourage, it's going to be against the law.
Really? Have we got that many?
Well, when was the last time you saw actual golf equipment being sold? And then ask yourself, when was the last time you saw a sign that said golf sale? I don't believe that there is actually any golf equipment on sale at all. I think it's a giant joke. There's just an enormous amount of people with golf sale signs, all pointing in the same direction, and if you followed them, you just end up taking a tour of the back streets of London.
What, so they're all pointing to each other?
Well, I've got no idea where they're pointing. Could be Timbuktu. It's LBC 97.3, coming towards news time now. It's 8:58.
Are you disappointed?
Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
Hurry up, dear. Yes, 0845 6060 973. You can text 84850. I'd like to get into things that are overrated. Your suggestions, please, on that number, 0845 6060 973. But first, let me do some Olympic news. They will be cleaning up London. It will look unlike it does at the moment, I'm certain, by the time the Olympics come around. One of the benefits of having it will be it will force the government to spend money on clean-up projects and to beautify the town with cash that they wouldn't have ordinarily spent, in much the same way that during the Great Depression in America they did a lot of civil projects to put people in work that ordinarily would have been, saying, "Buddy, can you spare a dime?" So I bet that happens here too. But one of the first things they're going to get rid of, and I'm not sure that this is actually a good thing, is sandwich boards, and that is as of right now. Since the early 19th century, when tradesmen hoisted them on their backs to flaunt silk wares and fine foods, the sandwich board has played an integral role in the commerce of London. You know, recently somebody got arrested and fined for having one of those for sale signs in the window of his car. Because apparently on Her Majesty's Highway it is now illegal to flog stuff.
So are you allowed to put your car up for sale if it's parked on your own drive?
Yes. But I think as soon as you leave your drive, you'll have to take the for sale sign down, which seems ludicrous to me. Anyway, back to this. Nowadays, these sandwich board people are more likely to be advertising 2-for-1 meals, cheap theatre tickets, or tanning salons, but they remain a regular fixture in the West End. However, the sandwich board men are about to be driven from the teeming pavements and confined to a place in history. Westminster City Council will use new legislation to remove sandwich boards and advertising placards permanently from the streets next month. Under the new laws, sandwich board men and the companies they advertise face fines of £2,500 if they fail to comply with the ban. Well, one of the things they should also do, which they will, come as we get to nearer the Olympics, is get those blooming people with those copper bowls of nuts off the street. They stink. You'll find them on. They usually set up shop on the bridges either side of Hungerford Bridge, whatever they're called, the Princess Diana bridges or something like that. You know, those beautiful bridges on either side of Hungerford Bridge that go south from Embankment Tube. They're always on there with whatever those nuts are. They smell hideously. They're coated in some sort of... Why anybody would buy food from those people? I mean, you put it in your mouth. But
it's mainly tourists, isn't it?
I don't care where you come from. They're not blind, are they? And the hot dog people, they've got to go as well. I mean, which part of the animal exactly is in those skins? Oh, please. Anyway, back at this. Westminster, which believes that other authorities in London will follow its lead, said it was taking steps to remove the clutter of the West End to improve the experience for shoppers. That's not going to improve the experience for shoppers, is it? I suppose they don't look particularly nice, do they? Half-price theatre tickets, they say. Golf sale, they say. Half-price leather jackets, all that sort of nonsense. The workers who wield them are often paid as little as £4 an hour and stand for 10 hours, more or less, promoting anything from sports sales to restaurants and language schools. Do you remember the guy that used to go up and down Oxford Street with the less passion from less protein sign? He was doing that, I think, every day for decades or more. What a nutter. He had a board, the same board, and it said something like, less passion from less protein. Well, why would you elect to have less passion, for a start? And then he listed some of the foods that were responsible for passionising you, and they were meat, fish, cheese, pulses. I can't remember exactly what it said now, but there was a whole great big long list, and he gave out a little brochure, a catalogue.
What was he getting out of it, though?
The feeling that he was doing God's work, presumably. you know, one of those. Anyway, he's gone now. The traditional sandwich boards worn over the shoulders with front and back advertising messages have gradually given way to larger signs on high poles, which can be spotted from a distance. Lucas Roller, 31, was disappointed to hear that his job would soon disappear. While admitting that he often got bored and the pay was not good, he enjoyed himself by saying, and said that holding a placard was easy. He'd been paid £4.50 for 6 years. $4.50 an hour. He's been doing that for 6 years. Blimey, there's people listening to this who think that they've got a bad job. Imagine that. He comes from Poland and has difficulty with the language and would find it hard to find another job, poor bloke. Charity fundraisers and religious preachers, familiar sites around Oxford region and Bond Streets, will be confined to designated areas. What, like prison, you mean? It's a good job that be a winner, not a sinner bloke has gone. Maybe last time I heard he was in Liverpool or Leeds or some unlovely place like that. Good thing, too. He was a nightmare. He used to set up shop in the middle of Oxford Circus, and the people that used to work around there must have been pulling their hair out. How is it legal that someone can install a PA system and start essentially hectoring passers-by with it? I just think it's absolutely blooming outrageous.
But you can become used to anything, really.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't. It's called torture. You can't become used to torture.
I used to live opposite a police station and a fire station.
Yeah. And?
Didn't bother me after a while.
Well, I used to live on a road that was by a hospital, was on a direct route from a police station at one side and a fire station on the other, and it was sirens 24 hours a day, and you don't get used to it, because in the dead of night, when there are no other noises, you get woken up virtually on a nightly basis by some Burke putting his siren on, when it was totally unnecessary. It was a completely empty street. Maybe he was just waking himself up.
Yeah, but you can eventually sleep through that.
No, you can't. Here's something else about the Olympics, and then I'll get into things that are overrated. If you have a suggestion about things that are overrated, I'll construct a list. It's 0845 6060 973, and I'll get into that after this. The Olympics are approaching, and everybody is concerned about drug cheats. From pistol shooters to shot putters, every British athlete competing in this summer's Beijing Olympics is being tested for performance-enhancing drugs in the most extensive anti-doping campaign in this country's Olympic history. Around 1,500 sportsmen and women travelling to China to compete in the Olympics and Paralympic Games this August and September are being screened as part of a no-compromise approach to stamping out drug cheats. Oh, blimey. Well, we might as well not show up then. I mean, we don't win many medals as it is. We've got no chance. UK Sport, which controls the country's anti-doping measures, said yesterday that it'll carry out tests on athletes' blood and urine with no advance notice and mostly out of competition, the time when some of the athletes used drugs to prepare. I assumed that much like downhill skiing is an arms race of hot waxing. They're essentially all more or less the same. It's whoever's got the best wax for the prevailing snow conditions what wins. I just assumed that, man is running pretty much as fast as he can without exploding, so it's whoever takes the best drugs that wins, right? I mean, that's about right, isn't it? Particularly for these strength sports. I mean, if it has some sort of artistic thing to it, like gymnastics or diving or, any of those things that is not either fastest or highest or something that's directly measurable.
It's quite creative.
Anything that has an artistic content is not. You won't necessarily improve your score by, hopping yourself up on a lot of exciting drugs. But the sort of muscle sports, the explosive sports, I thought that's what it was all about. Which is why most of the people that do it look as though they're about to pop out of their skin, like their skin doesn't come in their size. Those people. The crackdown is partly aimed at avoiding an international embarrassment in the run-up to London 2012, and I think that will be the theme that runs through this whole Olympics thing, because they don't want to be embarrassed going into the current one that's about to start, and then as soon as that finishes, of course, all eyes will be on the one in London, and we don't want anything that will essentially take away from the glorification of the people that are running the show, from the Prime Minister on down. Just 4 years away from the London Games, UK Sport is concerned that the attraction to young athletes of performing on their home stage and increasing pressure on them, sometimes from criminal networks peddling performance-enhancing drugs, could lead to doping among 2012 hopefuls. If at school you've removed the possibility of taking part in competitive games, well, we're not going to have any, are we? Has nobody thought that through? I mean, we're not that good at games. If you remove competition from school sports, well, we've got no chance. In the Olympics, not everyone gets a prize. That might come as a shock to some people. As part of the tougher regime, the movement of British athletes is being monitored, so they have no excuses for missing drug tests. By updating an internet database, each athlete going to Beijing has to inform UK Sport where they will be for 1 hour a day, 5 days a week. A new national anti-doping organisation will also investigate the trade in banned substances and blah, blah, blah. How not to get caught. 5 ways. I'll do that in a minute. 9:15. LBC Travel with Alan Joyce.
Absolutely.
Now, I know I've been training this for a long time. I'm going to get into the things that are overrated in just a minute, but if you are considering a career in athletics or some such thing, you will need to know how not to get caught taking performance-enhancing drugs, because, let's face it, everybody that you'll be racing or competing against in any way will be taking them, so you might as well join in, eh? No?
No, it's bad.
I just assume that they are. Essentially, the prize, the gains that can be made by winning outweigh the risks of being caught.
But it's so stringent that...
But it isn't, because the money... It's like the war on recreational drugs. They're never going to win that, because the amount of money that is made in selling them far outweighs the amount of money that the authorities have to try to stop them selling them. You know, Prince William... I don't know whether we're believing that whole PR thing that Prince William has got going on at the moment. He's out there saving the planet. Yeah, right. He came up with £50 million worth of cocaine. How coincidental and convenient that he should find a boat with that much coke on it. Rightio, okay, we'll take it at face value. And they're saying, oh, this is going to be a tremendous, kick in the particulars to the people that are behind this heinous drug trade. No, it's not. They won't even blink. It's literally a drop in the ocean for them. It's insignificantly small amount. Anyway, I am being sidetracked. How not to get caught taking performance-enhancing drugs. This is in The Guardian today. Use a Whizzinator. It's a rubber penis connected to a pouch of clean urine that is incorporated with a specifically adapted pair of underpants. The athlete uses the fake when he is asked to produce a sample, available in white, black and Latino shades to help fool watching officials. $155. 2. Hide a fake bladder. Athletes at the Athens Olympics in 2004 were caught using a rubber bladder containing a clean sample hidden in their... Well, this is the sort of thing you can get away with in The Guardian, but I best not say it, eh? Hidden in there, A fine tube runs along and then is squeezed to release the flow. The stuff they get up to, it's extraordinary. It'd be easy to go out there and win the race. 3. Stop taking drugs a few days before the test. Urine analysis can detect banned substances between 2 and 5 days after they were taken. Forensic toxicologists can get around this using hair samples, which will show doping up to 10 days earlier. 4. Don't tell the athletes. East German coaches operating during the 1980s would replace anabolic steroids, or would repackage anabolic steroids, so that their charges wouldn't know what they were taking. So, presumably, when they would straight-facedly deny all knowledge. 5. Buy a bottle of synthetic urine. Quick Fix Pour and Go, a brand name, is available online for $30. If an anti-doping agent is not watching, it can be substituted for your own urine. Synthetic urine. I'm on about 3 pints of synthetic urine a day now, man. I can handle it. I've just got a bit of bad breath at the moment, that's all. Whitechapel, rather. Peter.
Yes, good evening.
Yes, Peter.
Yes, listen about the overrated people.
Yes.
Once I phoned in and said about English players, you have to do the Zola Bud, get foreign players to represent Britain and then get them back out. Because Ronaldo worth 70 million.
Yeah.
And Terry, Chelsea captain, only worth 8 million. Look at the comparison.
Well, yeah, but
that's one of the English captains.
Yeah, hang on a minute. Whoa, Nelly, John Terry hasn't been sold lately.
No, but that's what his value goes, 8 million.
No, that's not true. John Terry is on more money per week than Ronaldo at the moment.
Well, how much they're buying him for? 8 million.
Yes, but that was a good long while ago, though, wasn't it?
Huh? Then to the papers, 8 million. The chosen one offer him 8 million. And Ronaldo is 70 million. Look at the difference. 70 million. I mean, we want to win the World Cup or qualify for the World Cup with players only worth 8 million. Not even double figures.
Right. Well, Ronaldo and his team, of course, were at Euro 2008, and John Terry and his weren't. So maybe the price is right.
He's not overrated, Ronaldo?
Is he overrated? I don't think he is, because if essentially it's show business, isn't it? Football is show business. It's part of the business of show. And if you want bums on seats, then you have to get somebody who is either exciting or controversial or is going to whip the crowd up, who's people who are going to pay 50 quid to see him. Would you rather see John Terry play or Ronaldo play? For all of the above reasons, it's got to be Ronaldo, right? More exciting. He does all this... He'll do a couple of tricks and, balance the ball on his head like a seal, clap his hands and then pass it to a member of the opposing team, which is the thing that usually immediately follows one of those tricks that he does. But it's interesting to watch, and it's, it's amusing, and he's a bit of a hate character, hate figure. Yeah, of course he's worth it. He's worth it if they're willing to spend it. That's the thing. It's show business. But are footballers in general overpaid? Well, or overrated? Maybe. Not overpaid. I don't think it's possible to be overpaid.
You can never have too much.
Well, yeah, on an individual level, yes. But if the market dictates that that's what you're worth, and it's not a part of the state that is paying for it, if it is a commercial organisation that has to answer to its either owner or shareholders, then that's how much you're worth. I mean, if a company that's operating in the market says that Ronaldo's worth £70 million, then he is. If the government, for instance, wanted to buy him, and they said he was worth £100 trillion just because they had that kind of money to spend, then he wouldn't be worth that, because that's not a fair... it's not equitable and fair. This is the story that got me interested and curious about this. Things that are overrated. Organic chicken. You buy organic chicken?
No.
Because I do. I mean, I've got sort of caught up in all that, got to protect I would like my chickens to die laughing, actually. I want them to be so happy with their little lives that they would, clap their little feathers together on a daily basis. Scientists claim that organic chickens do not taste as good as battery-farmed birds. It's not there's no difference. They don't taste as good as birds that are, weeping into their corn on a daily basis. Their study involving a blind taste test found that battery birds had a superior flavour and texture and were more juicy than organic birds. Huh. Doesn't that run contrary to everything that you would believe? Because you assume organic is better. No, I know there's a lot of people that say that that's a lot of old nonsense and we're just mugs falling for all that PR. But you would assume that a battery chicken would not taste as good as a chicken that has been, been free to cluck about the place.
Who decides, though, that something tastes better than something else?
Because a blind taste test.
But surely everyone's palate is different.
Which is why you get a lot of people and you compare and contrast.
But still, that's going to be... all those people are going to have a different palate.
Subjective, yes. But if everybody says the same thing, then you'd have to assume that we might be onto something here. In general, higher ratings were given for the texture, juiciness, flavour and overall preference for meat from the birds reared in the standard system, which, if you've ever seen pictures of the standard system, is properly horrible. The common perception is that organic birds will be much tastier, but that is not the case. Another study found that the organic poultry is actually less nutritious and contains more fat than mass-produced equivalents. Oh, this is really bizarre. Tests on supermarket chicken breasts showed that organic versions contained lower levels of health-boosting omega-3 fatty acids than other varieties. The compounds present in high levels in oily fish are thought to combat heart disease and boost intelligence. Organic chicken also contained lower levels of antioxidants, compounds which mop up harmful molecules called free radicals. The chicken from birds which are raised as naturally as possible were given antibiotics only when they were actually ill. They contained up to twice as much cholesterol. So, fewer omega-3 oils, lower levels of antioxidants, more cholesterol, more fat, and they taste worse. Organic chickens.
Sounds horrible.
Well, it's incredible, isn't it? It goes completely contrary to everything that you would have expected. I mean, I'm going to put money on the opposite being true in every case.
Do you buy organic, though, for it to taste better?
Yes. It tastes better and be less ruinously poisonous to my system, yeah, essentially. And turns out I'm doing completely the wrong thing in every respect, according to that survey. I'll come back. This is LBC 97.3, 9:30. Oh, no. I'm a minute out. Now I feel foolish. OK. Big in Hill. Hello, Paul.
Hello there.
Paul. Yes, Paul.
Good evening. We're talking about things that are overrated. I think I get a bit irritated and sucked in sometimes by the culinary industry when they kind of rebadge things and make them sound a lot better than they are. Like in the old days, they just say something's got lemon sauce on it. Now it's drizzled with lemon sauce.
So yummy.
Like it makes it this huge difference. Yeah. The fact that they've made it in a nice S shape. And last Christmas I was in the Peak District, up at Chatsworth
no,
House.
You know what? Can I take you after this? Because I'm up against the news. Can we hear this Chatsworth House story in a minute?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's hear
right.
The news.
Good man. OK. He is on hold. This is LBC 97.3. It is news time at 9:30. Davis.
Good evening. I'll be quick because I know you've got a caller on hold.
Radio.
I have relationships expert and agony aunt Susan Quillian back with me tonight. We're having a general relationships clinic this evening. Anything that's going wrong, hopefully we'll be able to sort it out.
Oh, yeah.
That's the plan, anyway.
OK.
A few other bits and pieces to talk about. I went to see Mamma Mia, the movie last night.
Any good?
I really enjoyed it. I mean, look, what do you expect? It's basically just ABBA's greatest hits set to,
Do you see the stage show?
I've never seen the stage show, so I didn't really know what to expect other than a lot of ABBA songs, which is pretty much what you get, really, only with Pierce Brosnan sort of murdering them as he tries to sing.
Well, it's hard not to... I mean, try as you might, it's hard not to like ABBA.
Well, this is it. Especially when Benny and Bjorn make their little guest appearance. There was a huge cheer in the audience. So it was good fun. So we'll be talking about that and the love affair that never was in your life, because that's one of the sort of subplots to the movie other than the actual wedding.
Right.
That and other things going on tonight after 10.
OK, there he is. Jim Davis coming up after the news at 10 o'clock. Cheers. Back at you, Paul. Thanks for waiting.
Oh, that's OK. It's nice listening to the news. Chatsworth. I was up there last Christmas, I think it was, and we'd been for a walk, absolutely starving at the end of the walk. And he walked into the house area, and you could smell this gorgeous cooking going on outside. And the menu up there was absolutely stupendous. It sounded fantastic. It was some. They put Aviemore Highland venison, because of course they've got to tell you exactly where it comes from.
Yeah, that's
right.
right.
That makes a difference.
Yeah.
It said it had Lancashire, red onion chutney. Well, I can't tell where a red onion comes from. Local wholemeal walnut bread and drizzled with whole grain Dijon mustard.
Ooh.
Turned out, I'm thinking this is going to be a great barbecue. You get in the queue, you can't actually see what's there. There's guys in the white hats and everything.
A barbecue?
Finally got to the front of the queue. Yeah, finally got to the front of the queue, and it's a hot dog.
What?
That's what it was. The venison was a sausage, and it was all a tarted up language in the culinary profession to say hot dog, and it was $5.95.
Huh.
Sounded nice, but
lovely surroundings, mind.
Oh yeah, it was worth that money just for the surroundings, I guess. Not really, but they seem to just do this a lot in the culinary business these days.
Sausage with a view, yeah,
that sort of stuff.
Chatsworth, that's the place that has that fantastic dining room that was lifted en masse from a French hunting chateau, wasn't it?
Oh dear, I don't.
Oh, they didn't let you in that? No.
No,
right.
They wouldn't have let me in. No.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thanks for that.
Bye.
Paul. Right, things that are overrated then, so essentially fancy cuisine. Throwing a lot of French words to bamboozle you, like jus and stuff like that, which is just gravy. Or juice, in fact. But it sounds better and costs more. Things that are overrated, 0845 6060 973. You can text 84850. A text, overrated, television, business, alcohol, sex. Business? What, as in business or business? As in, would you like some business? You know, you hear that from the doorways in Soho a lot. Excuse me, sir, do you want some business?
I think they mean business.
Actual business. Well, I disagree with all of those. Television's not overrated. It's great. Business? Well, where would we be without it? Alcohol? Are you joking? Sex? Yeah, you're right about that. Things that are overrated. There you are, you see, agreeing. Sex, first one. Fashion and Big Brother. Fashion is ludicrous, really, isn't it? What a silly people fashion people are.
Again, it's just personal taste.
No, it isn't. It's,
yeah, it is.
It isn't. The fashion business is probably the least helpful, most wasteful business on earth. They deliberately build in obsolescence to each and every one of their products, such that if you follow fashion, if you're a dedicated follower, then within 6 months, everything that you just bought is only good for throwing out. What other kind of business conducts itself like that? It's outrageous.
Why should it matter? Because surely a shirt is a shirt. A jumper's a jumper. You're going to need to wear them at some point. Why does it matter what they look like?
Well, yes, I suppose so. But without this constant changing, they would have no business, would they? Although people would need to replace things, but they wouldn't do it at such an alarming rate. And by that method, we wouldn't have giant piles of unused clothes the size of Mount Etna, because charity shops can't sell them anymore. They give unless they're by Chanel or Dior, they send them to China where they get chopped up into tiny little bits and re-sewn into blankets. I think if it's wool, if it's made of anything else, it goes into a hole in the ground. I think wool is just about the only thing that they can recycle. Anything else, cotton, mixed fibres, or football shirt material, all of that stuff goes straight into a giant hole in the ground to sit forever, because that stuff doesn't rot, does it? Bracknell, hello, Geoffrey.
Hi.
How you going?
Must be a very big hole.
Huge.
Must be bigger than the hole that Stig in the Dump lives in.
Yeah, bigger than all of the holes in the Albert Hall.
That massive. But why has science suddenly assumed this role in our lives as being the sole authority on all our own subjective experiences?
Huh?
Because in relation to your statements on the experience of chicken tasting...
Yes, and as I was reading this, I was getting a bit suspicious about this, because it doesn't say anywhere who these people were that did this. They're not perhaps people who sell intensively reared chickens by any chance, are they?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is it? I'm not. See, when I go into a restaurant and I eat any kind of meal, I don't have a scientific notebook or the latest scientific journal or latest scientific authority for PhD students from University College Los Angeles to tell me how I'm experiencing my meal. I use my own taste buds myself to decide whether whether the experience is a pleasant one, or an unpleasant one.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to tell whether it had all of these extra juicy things like, omega-3 and antioxidants and extra levels of fat and so on. Actually, it was Bristol University, the veterinary science department of for Bristol University. So they're not dopes.
Well, yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is and I think it is a significant point. So I will definitely make it.
Yes, restate it. Go ahead.
In a Monty Python, it's my thoughts only, no one else's thoughts, my thoughts, and I will uphold them.
Can't wait to hear them.
Right, is that if it's good for you, it's good for you, and you don't need a scientist to do some kind of microbiological or DNA-activated nuclear mass resonance examination of your experience, because if it's good for you, it's good for you. If
it feels good, do it.
Yeah, exactly. So in the same area, when it comes to my rare moments of in flagrante activity with a member of the opposite sex, I don't need some sociologist or psychiatrist or sociologist saying, but you should be doing it 2.2 times a week, because if you did 2.2 times a week, you're doing the average, and therefore you'd experience them more. Those kind of personal things of physical experience are down to the individual's own discernment and own decision as to how they experience them and what they like, not to a bunch of scientists who are desperately trying to get some credibility in the world by doing an irrelevant kind of analysis of our own experiences of either organic chicken or battery farmed chicken.
Honestly, if you talk to women like this, Jeffrey, you're never going to get any.
Well, perhaps that's one of my major problems, yeah, but I think it's true, because you don't need to. I mean, if you're constantly referring, should I drink this cup of coffee or not? Because what's the latest survey on caffeine intake and what should be the milligram per...
But these are all helpful things to know, surely. I mean...
No, they cause neurosis.
Well, that's true.
They cause neurosis. It's like the government telling you you've got to force-feed yourself 5 bit portions of fruit and vegetables a day, otherwise you're going to die by the time you're 65 instead of 60. And half the time, Lillian Board, Lillian Board, who's one of the healthiest women in the world, because she was a 200-metre run or whatever, died when she was young.
Well, you'll always get anomalies like that. Long-distance runners and the fittest man on earth will drop down dead when he's 27 of a heart attack. That sort of thing will always happen. But don't you think that it is useful information to know that by overindulging in one thing or another, you are likely to ruin, the end part of your life? I mean, you will live longer, right enough, and it's true that the extra years you get will be...
spent urinating in an old people's home, being underfunded by a government that's nicked all your taxation all through your life.
There'll be the dribbling years. Yes.
Yeah. Or should you, listen, the Greeks used to say, those who the gods love die young. It's better to live in a life of intense experience than a dull life that's long and boring.
Right. How's yours going so far?
It's long and boring, but I'm waiting for the more intense experience.
Right. It'll be just around the corner. You wait.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, mate.
You.
Cheers. 0845 6060 973. Things that are overrated. A text. You can text on 84850. Dubai is overrated. Went there on holiday. Doesn't appeal to me. It looks properly hideous. Mind you, that woman who's got herself into a bit of trouble over there, well, it looks like she's only got herself to blame. The more you read about her, the more you think, well, pull yourself together, dear. I mean, she was having knowledge of some geezer that she'd met on the beach, and a policeman politely asked if they wouldn't mind not doing that. And so they continued to do it. And then, much to their surprise, they were arrested. Well, I mean, that's just Darwinian thinning out of the dopes, isn't it, really? Dubai. No. Why would you want to go somewhere that's so hot you couldn't even go outside? Well, I don't get it.
It's nice and sunny.
Yeah, but Spain is nice and sunny. I would suggest that Spain is nicer and sunny. Well, I mean, sunny is sunny, isn't it? I mean, if it's so sunny that you have to cover yourself with from head to toe, because otherwise the skin will peel off you, that's too sunny. But Spain is too sunny. They've got no end of sun there. They also have, lots of things to go and see and do, and you probably won't get arrested for having sex on the beach. They probably encourage it. I think in Barcelona it's the law. A text, things that are overrated. The Beckhams. He was having a chat with one of the papers today, wasn't he? I think it was The Sun. He's been over there for a year and says he doesn't miss this country a bit. Or he misses shandy and a Sunday roast, something like that. I didn't realise that footballers were allowed Sunday roasts. You'd think that they'd be on steamed fish and broccoli all the time. I mean, it used to be that they used to have 3 pies and 10 pints during half-time. Them were great. But not anymore. The Beckhams, yes. Well, there's another thing. I mean, he is worth what he is paid, because it's, governments aren't giving him money. Commercial organisations are weighing up whether he will do them a service or not, and they're only paying him what they think they'll get out of the deal. So essentially, whatever he's getting paid, that's what he's worth. No one's going to pay him £100 million if they don't think that they can make £200 million off the back of employing him. It's 9:45. LBC Travel with Alan Joyce.
Come on, we're running late!
Talking about football, by the way, Jamie Oliver is making a programme, the blessed Jamie. He's done schools to no great effect, right? He sat on the terrace at the back of number 10 Downing Street with Tony Blair, I remember it well, and Tony said, I don't think we actually saw him say that he was going to give him, whatever it was, £250 million or something like that to transform school dinners. But Jamie Oliver came away with the impression that that's what he had secured, which is, the Tony's way. Everybody leaves with a smile, and you think, hang on a minute, I've just had my pocket picked. Well, the next thing he's going to be doing is trying to transform the diets of football supporters. And this is a piece in the Express. When it comes to TV chefs effing and blinding, it is usually the exclusive territory of Gordon Ramsay. But Jamie Oliver, whose programmes are usually scattered with nothing more terrifying than countless darlings and puckers, that does get a bit wearing after a while, doesn't it? Unleashed a few choice insults as he attempted to change the eating habits of a group of rowdy football fans. The 33-year-old was filming at Rotherham United's Millmoor ground for his new TV show due to air in the autumn. And in an attempt to persuade the supporters to eat healthier burgers, the lifelong Cambridge United fan donned a Rotherham shirt as he made his case for Posh Tucker. A fan at the game said Jamie got on the pitch at half-time to give a speech. Now, that speaks of disaster before he's even opened his mouth, doesn't it? But before he could say anything, about 1,000 fans started chanting, "You fat bleeper." You fat bleeper. Over and over again. He did look a bit more chubby than usual, said the fan. Jamie let them go on for about a minute before he said down the mic that he was cooking up some nice steaks in the car park for all you fat bleepers. So there's something to look forward to, eh? Insults, throwing insults at people, Gordon Ramsay, it's a living, isn't it? Looking for things that are overrated. West End, hello, Steve.
Hi, Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Movie reviews are overrated. I don't believe them anymore.
Movie reviews?
Yeah, every time you read a movie review on a poster, or even on a trailer, they're talking how awesome, how wonderful the movie is, and you watch it, you spend 2 hours, you spend $8 of your time.
And it's the same old rubbish. Same old, yeah. Never believe anything that's written on a poster.
And sometimes what they do is they take partially what somebody said, right, And they take the best part, and somebody said, well, this movie was not the most amazing movie I ever seen. And then what they do is they take the most amazing movie I've ever seen, and then they quote the guy.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do, yes. No, I don't believe any of those things. I make my mind up from just looking at the poster and without and completely ignoring the quotes. But it's always instructive to see where the quotes come from, because if they come from Time magazine or the Telegraph or the Sun or the International Herald Tribune, you know, something like that, then you think, well, maybe they've got something here. If it comes from one of those supermarket checkout magazines, then warning bells should start to sound. If they haven't got any printed recommendations at all, and they come from somebody off the telly, then be very concerned. And if the only good recommendation is from someone on the radio, flee, run in the opposite direction, Steve. All right, thanks for that.
I don't believe them anymore is because all these people you're talking about that place reviews and then you can trust them. I watched movies like There Will Be Blood. I couldn't watch 30 minutes of that movie, and everybody was talking about it like it was the most wonderful movie ever made.
There Will Be Blood.
I just couldn't understand. It went completely over my head. Maybe I'm just stupid, but...
Was it a musical opinion? Sucked. A text. Overrated. Britain. Not by us, of course, but by the huddled masses desperate to enter the country in the mistaken belief that it's just great here. Yeah, somebody is telling porkies to the people that are over at Sandgate or wherever it is that they're busy trying to get here. Maybe it's like an urban myth. There's gold on them thar streets. That's what they think. As soon as they get here, they think, oh, blimey, this is awful. Overrated. The royal family. Yes. Of course, the royal family has got a giant push on at the moment. The PR drive between the two princes is gigantic. I think they've seen their chance, and it's the best opportunity they've had to really cement any residual good feelings after the debacle over Princess Diana's death. With these two, William and Harry, they've it's almost like a new lease of life. And they have reporters chasing around them. It seems almost night and day. You can't go a day without reading some tremendous thing that one or the other of them has just done. I think they're trying to bury that whole falling out of clubs at 5 o'clock in the morning image by making them do, or by having them reported to be doing good things.
The clubbing was just a phase.
They grew out of that, did they?
Yeah.
Right. And I raise a finger of doubt about all of this. Have they changed so dramatically that now between the two of them they are saving the world, as we are kind of led to believe? Prince William out there on that boat, which, by the way, being put on a warship is about as easy a posting as it's possible to get. I mean, essentially, it's a long holiday, right?
But it was just coincidence that he was on there at the time that...
Suspicious coincidence, yeah. He had nothing to do with it. What, they caught the perps with the coke? Yeah. Yes, I'm very suspicious about all of that, but anyway. Another text. Overrated. The Olympics. Well, I've decided not to be against the Olympics. You have to embrace it, really. I mean, this is a demonstration, a festival, a celebration of what you can do with the human body.
What if you don't like sport?
Well, you might see someone you might fancy. There you go. They won't be wearing much.
When you put it like that.
Yeah. And it'll be in high def. Overrated. Celebrity culture. Oh, blimey, are you ever right about that? Convenience culture. What does that mean?
Everything's to hand.
The internet. The internet isn't overrated. That's like saying books are overrated. It's just what's on it, innit? And the latest research. What, as in the chickens? Overrated. Angel of the North. Can't see any beauty in it. Yes. No, neither can I. I don't think it looks right from any angle. All the proportions are wrong. Plus the guy that fella, his stuff is so boring. Anthony Gormley? Oh, Struth, spare me the pain. It's another cast of his own body. Again. Over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, talk about a one-note artist. Blimey, at least Tracy did a bed and a tent. A text. Black cab drivers are highly overrated. Ooh, that won't go down very well. These people can't drive properly, don't care about other drivers, cut corners, straddle lanes, pull in front of you, and then drive slowly for no apparent reason. They're getting on my chest. I've never heard that phrase before. Getting on my chest. I like that. Yes, all of that's true. However, black cab drivers think that we're dopes because we are relatively unskillful. They are doing all of these things because they have to sit behind the wheel all the time and are doing this, cutting corners and straddling lanes and not indicating and all that out of necessity. They perceive us as being dopes for driving like amateurs, essentially. Plus, they're very uncomfortable and unpleasant to drive, cabs. So you have to have a bit of sympathy. They're sitting in those things all day long. Oh, hey, I forgot about you doing your little piece. There you go. What we talked about today, then, eh?
Well, you haven't left me much time, though.
No, sorry about that. But I bet you haven't got a long list.
That's true, actually.
You
CRB
read it.
Checks,
Go ahead.
Loss of personal freedom.
Yes.
New York
I'll
burglars,
tick-tock you out, don't worry.
Mile-high buildings, Spider-Man, clamped, picking up at Heathrow.
You're rubbish at this. LBC.